Yo, Crypto Nation and mining family, what's going on? What up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, all you happy hashers out there? It is almost the end of the week. Time for the weekend grind. Yo! So what's going on, everybody? As you're all sliding on in here, definitely smash that lizard like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. You know what to do. You know what to do. It's not your first rodeo. So what's going on, everybody? As we're sitting here kind of waiting for everybody to kind of pile on in on this little bit of a late start. Had to eat something, was dealing with stuff with the facility most of the day. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff that's been going on. What up, Fudweiser? You know, trying to get all that big boy power in at the facility, guys. Yo. So we will be doing a little something soon here, giving people in the Patreon a little bit of an update, and then release it to the public later on. So I'll be probably writing up a little something to go into the Patreon. If you're not on the Patreon, link is down below. Especially if you want to be part of the pseudo hasher tier to be a VIP member at the Family Mine, guys. If you want to, I know, shameless plug. I know, shameless, so shameless over there on that plug, right? If you get into that pseudo hasher tier, there's perks, benefits going along with that tier, guys, and helps me out a little bit, and then you get a VIP securing at the Family Mine. So if you got rigs to send over there, get in there. I'm just saying, it's going to benefit you in many, many ways. You'll find out when you get in there. I'm just saying. Yo. And I also have it if you guys are like CPU mining with XM rig, 0% dev fee if you're interested in that stuff too. Help you guys save a little money while you're at it, guys. Yo. So get in there. Do it. No, just kidding. You don't have to. But I would tell you that you have to get into the Discord if you haven't, though. That's free. That you have to do. I mean, come on. It's a gimme at this point, right? So, after I'm done doing all that shameless, I know, such shameless shilling. I know. Trying to shill my own personal hustle. Let's go ahead and get into it. You ever feel like you wanted to have that moment where you're like, I just want to feel like a little kid again, right? Check this out. Somebody has realized their own dream. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, that is a full-grown woman. I wish they would have gone one step further and done custom keyboard and done a really big keyboard key. This way it really looks like, they are sitting there in front of this giant laptop. I'm going to tell you right now, I would not want to have this laptop sitting on my legs like her. I mean, you can see that he's much taller than her. She's probably like 5'2", somewhere right around there. If I had to take a guess, this guy's probably like, 5'9", something like that. I don't know. I'm guessing. But I think this is freaking hilarious. But this thing weighs in at over 100 pounds. I mean, it's going to be a normal TV in there, like thin flat screen TV, keyboard, and this was being done with a I believe it was a NUC. A NUC 11 system in there. So it was carrying an i7 1165G7 processor and a RTX 2060 graphics card inside. You'll find plenty of hubs, everything that was needed in there. They had an RGB strip on this thing, but it came in at 45 kilograms or a little over over 100 pounds. I mean, the batteries on this thing is where that batteries in the monitor is where this is really going to get you. So this is the largest homemade 43-inch laptop. Consumes 260 watts of power. While it's at peak gaming. So the battery's life on this, I can't expect it to be to be too long. What's eating up most of it is not the NUC or the graphics card. It is gonna be the monitor on this thing, but it's got a 2060 in here. I mean, theoretically, will it mine? I wouldn't do it because of the fact that it's sitting on batteries. But if you were to sit there and directly plug the NUC in, and the GPU had an actual little power supply dedicated to it, I'd be interested in seeing how well it would mine with a NUC. I'd be there. It's like 1,000 CCA battery from your truck, 1,000 cold cranking amp battery from my truck just to power it up. What are you doing? Leg, I'm trying to get out from underneath my laptop. I'm stuck. Oh God, they got photos of like what all went into the inside of this thing. I mean, that's everything that went in there. That is just insane. Insanity, I say, insanity. So okay, this one has the built-in. Okay, this one's a built-in 2060, so it's gonna be a low performance. And then here was some of the previous largest laptops out there, the Predator. Even had a little monitor down below too. Trackball. I don't know why they would want a trackball in such a weird spot like that. Here was another one. I think this was like a whole speaker system on this thing. Detachable keyboard. This one had a detachable keyboard. Let's see here. This was 980 GPU in it. Oh my God. I remember now. I'm like, it looks familiar, but this here, guys, is an early day water cooling for a laptop. I know the keyboard needs to be to scale, dude. Linus Tech Tip took this one for a test drive. And he was like, this thing was so heavy. It's an all-in-one. Is that the new Tesla laptop? Nah, dude. This was back in 2016 that Asus made a water kit for a laptop. So they do come out with them every so often, guys, where, you know, you'll see a laptop like this, just boom, you know. And these, like, every so often I see these coming out where I'm like, oh my God, this is not practical. Because the problem is you're either leaving these things attached and fixed, or they have to have proper disconnects, quick disconnects that are self-sealing disconnects. This way you don't leak any water while you're, you know, going mobile with this thing. This here is not practical to go mobile with. Not at all. It's like cool for its time, and that tech kind of comes and goes out of style, I guess. But some of these big laptops, but yeah, I agree. I agree with that, Fudweiser. You know, it's like they need to make the keyboard to scale. That would have been so much better for this thing, and I would have. It would have made me giggle a little bit, okay? But because it has the normal keyboard on there, it's like I see what they did. It's cool. I'm not gonna dog them on doing this because it was like one of those project type of deal where it's funnier to do it and, you know, to see how, you know, just to see everybody's reaction at it. But yeah, I think it would have been funnier if somebody would have gone out of their way to make an oversized keyboard for this. Oh my Lord. It's like, is that the new Tesla laptop? It drives itself. Not really. All right, here. So, and we have new PCIe Gen 5s that have been coming out. This one's an interesting one. So all the ones from Inland with this little high power. Now, whenever I saw this, I was like, I'm like, is this a Raspberry Pi fan? I couldn't have been more wrong by thinking that. That, sir. If it'll blow up for me, there we go. Come on. It is a Delta fan. And I guess that little fan there has a particular whistle to it. Very, very noisy thing to utilize. And this is what gets me. In this time, day, and age, really? We're going to use Molex or SATA power to power the fan? Like, who wants ketchup and mustard wiring in their case? Nobody. So here they are, putting this kind of, I mean, I think I understand what they were doing, because to get the speeds up like that, you're going to generate some serious heat. And they're trying to get rid of that heat as fast as possible for longevity. But for a consumer PC, because that Molex and SATA is going to make that fan full tilt 24/7. That'll be you turn your PC on and you're going to hear a nice little wheep the whole time, guys. So, it was able to get up to the speeds of 10 gigabytes of sequential read and writes, of sequential reads, and 9.5 gigabytes of write speed. Those claims are of the company that released this first Gen 5 SSD. But this thing is going to have a whistle like you will not believe. And it even states it in here. Design-wise, it features a custom heatsink with a small fan that can be powered by SATA or Molex connectors. It looks like the drive has been available for sale for at least a week or so. Already some reviews available. Just as expected, the built-in fan is actually quite loud. So proper cooling and good airflow is recommended. You'll be looking at about $350 for this thing. I'm going to tell you guys right now, most people will not benefit from that. What are you trying to do? It is really the question behind it. Is a video game loading up a millisecond faster that so important to you that you got to spend $350 on something that you can get a terabyte or two for $100, $200, and it's like still don't work. Yeah. Oh, whoever that is needs to hold off for one moment. So, we're going to be at that point for a while where trying to deal with these higher read and write speeds are going to start generating heat, and we got to make better ways of wicking this heat away if we want longevity in the drives. But by putting a server grade fan inside of your PC, people build silent PCs for a reason, because they don't want a loud fan noise. Most of us miners, we don't care. It's like, oh, whatever. Hold on. Somebody's now asking me if I'm live streaming. Yep. Like, now go away. No soup for you. It's like, let's go. Yeah, that's right, Rude. That is right. So getting back onto it. And then we have another company that's coming out with the PCI 5.0 SSD. Also, this one, interestingly enough, is covered with RGB and not a real cooler. Now, we all know that, RGB is supposed to make everything run better, right? I don't know what their thought pattern is on this. If everybody else is worried about the heat generation on this thing, why you would put a heat block on there, and I mean a complete heat block. So I don't know if this is going to hinder anything on the card, on the M.2 in any way, shape, or form. I have no idea. But to see this, it shows you that, so either the cooler with a big fan on here is not necessary, or the RGB is going to make this thing die out quicker. With this stuff just coming out, I would be careful about trying to get RGB puke on top of my my memory. I would be looking at making sure that these things have cooling, because let's be real, guys. Most of the time that people are doing this stuff, they're with the M.2s, cooling is always going to be a factor. So having proper cooling, and most of the time having the board covering on top of that cooler, is what works better. So with that being said, it's like I wouldn't waste my money on something that's got the RGB puke on here. That's my opinion on this. I mean, everybody's mileage will vary. I would probably strip that stuff off if this was at a good price, and put a stock heatsink from the motherboard on here, because they have tested this, that the stock heatsink from the motherboard wicks away heat properly. And something like this RGB puke that goes up on top of it, this will hold heat in. Period. That's just what it's good for, holding heat. So I wouldn't be going down this route. I would went one too many over. I'd be going down, not doing that or that. But at this, it's like, I have it on the wrong screen. Oh, damn it! But I wouldn't be going from, it's like going from this to over to here. It's like I wouldn't be doing this RGB puke stuff at all. No way, no how. RGB puke on top of your SSDs in any way, shape, or form. People have done tests on this stuff. I think even Jay's 2 Cents did this, where there was a SSD that used to be like a few years ago, that had a bunch of RGB onto the back of it, and they turned it on to pure RGB puke on there, right? And they actually watched the memory start downclocking speed on there for sequential read and writes, because the drive was actually being overheated because it was pulling so much wattage for the RGB puke. So this is not an area where you want to sit there and see that garbage. And on top of that, if you don't have the newer motherboards that have the PCIe 5.0 standard already built into it, this will do you no good. But if you do have it, you can check this out too. I thought this was hilarious. Now, I would be interested in this if they can guarantee me a full ounce. Let's see what I'm talking about here, yo. Check this out. NeTAC unveils its DDR5 memory up to 8,000 megatransfers per second. A Chinese company is set to launch its fastest DDR5 memory yet, the Hurricane Z RGB series. So, I would buy this if. So, you'll see what I'm saying. I'll dive into this. So, NeTAC specializes in products with flash memory, including storage, thumb drives, and system memory. The company has also launched a DDR5 memory module series last year, but those were not offered with high clocks, which is what other companies are now focused on. However, it appears that NETAC will soon join the short list of companies offering 8,000 mega transfers per second memory based on the latest DDR5 standards. Timings will be average on there. Prices will be of what you would almost expect. But what makes this so interesting is that these are silver plated. Now, if I were to buy 8 sticks of this, can I guarantee an ounce of silver? Because if they can guarantee an ounce of silver with inside of this, you actually would be increasing the value of your PC. And that would actually grab my attention. The only thing I would hate about this is that you would be sitting there doing this. You'd have to buy silver polish to clean your PC. I'm not even kidding. The silver, you'd have to do silver polish to clean your PC. You'd never want to touch this thing. You touch this thing with your fingerprints on there, and it goes through a heat cycle. You're going to have to polish it. Yep, you put this on with white lint-free gloves. Snap it in with care, not to scrape anything off of it because you wouldn't want to lose weight. But that's something that I kind of chuckled at whenever I saw that. I was like, it's silver plated. Now, if they could sit there and say that the plating's thick enough that through eight of these that I can have a full ounce of silver, I might actually be down for something like that. But I doubt it's probably like the world's thinnest paper thin like silver plating on there that the world has ever seen. Oh gosh. Sorry about that, Tech Man. Talking about tax forms. Ugh. I'm like staying on top of my tax people. I'm like, I need you to get this done now so I can do my taxes. It's like I got my taxes like all together and everything, but I need the stuff from my business to get here so I can add that into my taxes. So yeah, it's like so we'll see how this goes. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like I can do without the whole RGB puke on it. It's like RGB. If you turn it all on, it pulls wattage. Wattage is precious power that could have gone to the GPU for anything better than RGB puke. But they can offer this with a full. If they can sit there and tell me how many of these that I have to buy in order to get an ounce of silver, if it was like within reason, it could be in an investment and not a computer build. Be like, son, I am investing into your future. I have all of these RAM sticks. Oh yeah, winning. I know, crazy sauce, right? So, talking about some crazy shit going on. Yo, check this out. Robinhood subpoenaed by the SEC over crypto listings and custody. The firm said it received an investigated subpoena back in December regarding its crypto listings, crypto custodies, and platform operations. Robinhood Markets has revealed that it has received an investigation subpoena from the U.S. Security Exchange Commissions over digital asset business, crypto listings, and custody and platform operations. If you guys don't understand some of that one, so the custody, why are they sitting there going how they're listing it and the custody on there? Because you do not own the crypto. You're only getting exposure to said crypto, even though it's showing that you own Bitcoin. You cannot move it off of their platform. It is locked down onto the platform. Now, this is a tactic that these traditional brokerage people play, is that I can't take my stock and bring it from Robinhood over to Charles Schwab, right? I can't sit there. I have to sell it off on Robinhood. and take the tax implementations from that, and then go buy it on Carl Schwab, and hopefully I still have enough to buy the same full share. So now you do not own custody of that Bitcoin. You're buying Bitcoin because you think you can do what you want to do with Bitcoin, and Robinhood stops that. So this is something that needed to be brought out on them, going, you cannot offer Bitcoin product without disclosing that you do not own the Bitcoin and that you're only getting exposure to it, because it's misleading. It really is. So in a 10K filing, I'm not sure exactly what paperwork that is. The brokerage firm said that it received an investigation subpoena in December, a month after the crypto exchange FTX filed bankruptcy, and followed the bankruptcy filing of several other major cryptocurrency venues and lending platforms earlier in 2022, including 3 Arrows Capital, Digital Voyager Holdings, and Celsius Network. The investigation subpoena was in relationship to the custody services, which they came into response to the crypto bankruptcies last year. So in April of 2021, Robinhood received a subpoena from the California Attorney General's office seeking about information on its crypto arms trading platform, business and operations, custody and customer assets and coin listings. So Robinhood's already been underneath the microscope a few times. You buy your crypto, anything over there, you do not own it. Robinhood keeps full control over it, and they will tell you when you can and can't buy, can and can't sell. All that stuff. So I don't know if this is going to mean that with Robinhood, if they get slapped with this, that they're going to allow people to take the coin off the exchange, or does Robinhood now just drop the pursuit of crypto because the SEC is now looking at every exchange as not being able, should not be allowed to, might not be qualified custodians. Bam. So SEC Chair Gary Gensler says crypto exchanges may not be qualified custodians. And because this is because they see what FTX did, right? FTX didn't do anything that they are not seeing patterns of in all the other exchanges. I can sit there. I know of a few that are exempt from this, and it's only because they are a Bitcoin-only platform. Just saying. And Swan Bitcoin is one of them, right? Swan Bitcoin, you can only buy that sweet Bizity Bitcoin. There is no other market noise signals in your way for understanding the ecosystem properly. I'm not sitting there shilling them or anything like that. I just like their mission statement. So for something like that, I see that Gary Gensler would not go after Swan Bitcoin because of the purity on there. But everywhere else that is sitting there and offering altcoins, offering staking services, offering APY on holdings, any of them that fall into those categories are usually doing something shady on the backside. So in order to get, especially with the staking services that the SEC looks at as a security, and you're going to be looking at anybody that's offering APY, because that also goes into going, how are you doing that? It asks the harder questions that people overlook overall. Where are you getting APY from? How are you offering more than what the banks offer? It's like there's only so much you can do without it kind of raising red flags. And after Gary Gensler is now under the crosshairs of not doing his job properly because of the FTX implosion that should have been easily spotted out from like a mile away from a man like Gary Gensler, which it's his job to sniff this stuff out. It should have been like second nature. He would have been, oh wow, that just doesn't smell right, and gone and came down with a boom. But he turned a blind eye, and now he's got to make up ground, which means that pretty much he's let the crypto market go too far without any kind of pulling back the reins. Do I want to see the reins really being pulled back? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. But you cannot have it all one way or all the other way. Usually when the reins get pulled back, it hits everybody. But we need to stop these, poop coins from coming out and producing obvious Ponzi scams that are defrauding millions of people around the world. This stuff's got to stop from somewhere, somehow. Obviously, the market cannot regulate itself. Period. The stock market tried to say that they could regulate themselves. They couldn't. Period. There was so many scams going on in the early days of the stock system. It was ridiculous. We're seeing the same events happen out in the crypto market. It is mirroring the stock market in its early infancy stages. Once the regulation came in, it slowed down the volatility within the market, stabilized actions. There was bells and there was things put in place that would slow the market down from having such violent up and down swings, because they were trying to just stop people who were just told, hey, you need to invest into something because it's the smart thing to do. Not particularly, you got to invest in X, Y, and Z on this, get some of this in your portfolio. And, just a little of this. No, it's just, hey, you need to invest into something good, get into the market, any which way you can. It's a good thing. And people go in and they look at the penny stocks where you just instantly lose money. 99.99999% of penny stocks never get out of their 2-year phase. That is most of crypto, guys. We are completely mirroring what the traditional stock market offers. So it's like this, to see that the SEC is going to be coming down on this. And I keep telling people they're not going to be able to regulate crypto in the ecosystem. It's impossible. We all know this, that they cannot regulate anything, because I can just sit there, grab Bitcoin. If I'm really hell bent on getting whatever scam coins out there, I could sit there and go send my Bitcoin right over to a decentralized exchange, which is usually just a software program executing buys and trades that is just open software. No nation specific, so they only accept crypto. There's no dollars coming in and off of there. It's only crypto, right? So now you can go still participate in the network. But what they're going to be able to do is they're going to regulate the on-ramp and the off-ramp. And it'll make it even easier to regulate on-ramps and off-ramps if they're sitting there and implementing the central bank digital coin, the CBDC. So if they actually implement the most destructive thing, which will be the hollowing out of dollars, if everybody goes to a single world currency controlled by governments only, which would be on a private system, and basically governments wouldn't have to really pay each other, because they'd be paying each other in what they already know is useless coins. They'll be asking for Bitcoin, guys. I'm just saying. Bitcoin, gold, or silver. That's the road we're going down. So it's like, yeah, I heard a VPN, though. Comcast has a hard block on Kick. Yeah, I mean, there's times where there's workarounds on everything. There is. If you're hell bent on doing something, right or wrong, you can do it. You can deal with the consequences that are behind that. That's to each their own. But the SEC is basically there to regulate people who are even less, that are really just less informed, getting into the market and being exposed to absolute trash. I mean, think about it this way. Would you want to sit there, wake up tomorrow and be like, your mom calls you up, oh, I finally got into that crypto thing that you wanted me to get into. And you're like, oh, awesome, Grandma, how much Bitcoin did you get? I didn't get Bitcoin, I got titty coin. They said it was moon. And then she calls you the next day, it's gone, I lost my whole savings. It's like, come on. This is basically to protect the less informed from getting exposure to garbage. We don't need the less informed being burned by rug pulls, Ponzi scams, and this, that, and the other. We need people to be introduced into the market the right way. They need to get exposure to the Bitcoin first, understand Bitcoin, understand how to utilize Bitcoin, and then know that everything else is trying to steal your Bitcoin from you. And you can go play in that market, but just know that the whole market's trying to separate you from your sweet busy Bitcoin. And that's where the SEC's like, well, we'll just slow it down because not everybody's going to be tech savvy enough to understand, oh, I can just send my coin over to this other exchange. A lot of people hold their crypto on exchange of where they bought it, guys. It's sad. And this is another reason why they are not qualified custodians, because if they're sitting there and looking at everybody's crypto is still theirs and on their balance sheet, that is a problem. Because now we have them sitting there and misleading the public on what their actual earnings are or what their net worth is, because they're not taking your crypto off of their balance sheet after they sold it to you. And that is bad bookkeeping, which will make it look like they can loan out more money than they really should. Here they are, a lot of them are loaning money out. FTX blew up because of this. They weren't taking the crypto off of their books that they were selling, and it was mingling all the funds, guys. There was no separation of the funds up until the point where a single customer actually pulled their money off the exchange. Was the only time that there was a separation of funds. So they were running deficits without people even knowing. There was no separation. Yeah, they weren't playing with your crypto because unless you pulled it off the exchange, it wasn't your crypto, not your keys, not your coin. It's been something that we've all has been uttered time and time again. Not your keys, not your cheese. Period, guys. Exactly. It's no bueno. So we don't need, your moms or grandparents, your aunts and uncles to get involved with this stuff and go right into scams. Like, what was it? ICP being listed on Coinbase. How many things turned out to be a complete scam that even Coinbase is listed? There's a reason that this stuff needs to be heavily regulated, guys. Period. As much as we hate it, but the thing is that if you're in Bitcoin, is the immunity pill. It's you're not gonna have any problem with the SEC. Yes, Cammy, I see you down there. She's like cutely pawing at me. Oh, the Cammy girl. So we need to have the less informed people to be absolutely protected from doing something foolish. We don't want to hear a call at any time going, I lost it all from a family member because they listened to you finally and they got involved and bought XRP and got wrecked. I mean, how many people got burned whenever some of the news, one of the news places was promoting XRP at $3 and telling people to sell at $1. It's like, how many people got burned and went, I will never touch crypto again. It's such a scam. Because they got into something that should never have been offered to them. That's just how it goes. People get burned. And it's not Bitcoin's fault. Unfortunately, right, guys? Unfortunately. So we will start seeing more heavy regulation here. And expect that it has the potential of slowing down innovation because of it. Because it turned into being such the Wild West that it basically pissed off the government because enough people lost money. That's the problem. Too many people lost money now. Way too many. Crypto exchanges have been the problem since day one. And since the day I got involved with crypto, I have been saying that eventually they will be monitoring the on-ramps and off-ramps. Playing in the ecosystem, they can't do anything about it. So you have that security. So if you still want to deal with, some coin, you can. That's the beautiful part of, crypto. But they will stop you spending it directly on there or being able to offload it for cash. So they're going to make you hopscotch around to go get it. And I think that if you want to go play in that market, more power to you at that point. At least then hopefully you have a better understanding that you could lose it all. If not, you're about to learn real quick. So, going on to other things. Vitalik Buterin says more still needs to be done over high Ethereum tax, the gas fees on here. Say it ain't so. Oh my God, guys. It's not the miners' fault now. Oh my God, there's still more that needs to be done? Say it ain't so. Where's the propaganda that this is the miners' fault? This was all 100% the miners. That's why they had to go to proof of stake. They had to centralize the out of themselves in order to get rid of the miners because those dirty miners were driving up the gas fees. Looks like it wasn't us after all. Say it ain't so. I still think this is hilarious. So, in a new publish, the Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin documented and continued that they needed to improve the network to better facilitate the Ethereum as a means of payment. Now, there's on record of him saying that Ether is not a means of payment. It is the engine behind the network, and that it was not meant to be a means of payment. Now he's changed his tune. Oh, it's a means of payment now. Wow. Didn't take him long to sit there and be like, oh, we need to change this up. Ethereum's making me a millionaire. So now it's a means of payment. So in Argentina in 2021, somebody had to pay 0.01 of an ETH, around $40 at the time. Was the minimum deposit the owner could exchange at the account. He did not mind the 3 times overpayment and treated it as a tip, the co-founder wrote. It's like, wow. Yeah, tip. Yep. I bet. It's more like, oh my God, it's expensive and I still need to use this. Crap. That's more probably what he said. So I'd be curious to see how they're doing that. And while at the same time, they're going to be implementing a way to be unstaked, because staking here in the United States is now considered a security, because they have a reasonable rate of return. That is one of the things that makes you pass the Howey test, is an expected rate of return. It's not like mining. Mining, you have the potential of earnings. Nothing. Absolutely nothing guaranteed. Nothing. So, with that being said, staking gives you a direct, if I stake X amount of Ethereum, I am going to get X amount of Ethereum back no matter what. Expected rate of return. You just passed the Howey test. It's one of the 4 legs. Most people don't know this. But yeah. So Ethereum needs to sit there and kind of figure out how they're going to sit there and help out the ecosystem, because once they unlock staking, I'd be curious to see how much of the network is left. This might be the death drum of Ethereum. It very well could be. Because they've still got high gas fees. They're burning. Their burn rate now is starting to artificially increase price on Ethereum. Artificially. Now, with them bringing out the unstaking process, it's going to sit there and make a potential bank run. We shall see how this rolls. We shall see. And if you guys haven't checked, I don't know who this guy is. Jack Dorsey, guys. Jack Dorsey is one of the co-founders and original members of Twitter. Makes his own new app that's more decentralized, which will be called Blue Sky, which also remarkably resembles Twitter. So here is the Blue Skies app, private beta that's coming out, guys. So I'd like to see how much freedoms you got up on here, how much free speech you get to have on here, how much integration he's going to be bringing in with Bitcoin. That would be a interesting thing, because I know that he is a big Bitcoin proponent. I believe that he went in with a few other people into a Bitcoin mining facility. The news comes amid Jack Dorsey reportedly moving some Bitcoin using his other social protocol, Nostr. Nostr.damus, the first mobile app to leverage the protocol, which was published on the App Store in February of 2023. So, not that long ago. Awesome stuff that, we got another potential app, but I don't know how good this is really going to be as a net positive. Again, you got to get people to come on over to here. There are many, many different social apps out there right now that, they have features, functionality, some crypto, not crypto. Some are where cypherpunks go hang out, like Mastodon. But Mastodon is a very, very big open world it's almost like Linux of social platforms, where there's many, many different flavors. And you gotta know which flavor you get involved with to know if you are in one of the outskirt lying ones that's just more lighthearted, it's just like a normal social platform, or if you are in the cypherpunk area where, so kind of depends on where you're at on there. Depends on, but Blue Sky, I'm just curious to see if he's going to make this as close to Twitter without being Twitter, of course, without all the corruption and censoring. Like, I can understand if you are outright saying somebody, bodily harm or something like that, outright, this X person should be, executed or whatnot, some kind of violent gesture like that. I can understand, putting child pornography on there, putting pornography period on there. It's like I can understand some of that stuff. But especially the child pornography. That should be a gimme. That none of that should ever be on there. And to see that it's allowed on Twitter, and that blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. But to see that there's a potential new app coming out there from Jack Dorsey, who has already made a good app before, it just kind of got away from him, and got too corrupt outside of his. It's like, hopefully he does not make the same mistakes with Blue Sky as he did with Twitter. That's the only thing that you can hope for. Will I check it out? Maybe if it becomes available. I've checked out Truth Social, and it's a definite echo chamber, but it's like you get to hear some of the stuff coming from Trump directly versus hearing it third party on some fascist news channel. I'm just saying. And then talk about CBDCs. Australia to lock down their country just a little bit more. Australia's central bank to launch live pilot of the CBDC in the coming months, guys. They are right around the corner from actually launching this. The use cases for the CBDC range from offline payments to trusted Web3 commerce. I still don't agree with this whole Web3 commerce stuff. It's all the internet. Those are just like buzzwords at this point. And it's going to be trusted commerce. Okay, so whitelisted commerce. Amazon will be whitelisted. Your farmer down the street is not going to be whitelisted because they know that he's illegally selling fresh produce, and they don't like that anymore. You see where this is going to go. So they're going to be able to just control their citizens just a little bit more. They're going to be able to endlessly print money once they sit there and do this. And the general public will not be able to account for the amount of CBDCs in circulation. If they can get everybody onto the CBDC system, they will have 100% control over how you spend your money. So if they need you to spend your money and they don't want you to save money no more, they just put a expiration date down on it. This is going to go away in like a month. So you have like 30 days to spend it. But this is my life savings of $40,000. Yeah, you have a month to spend it. Or we'll just delete it. You see how this goes, right? This is how the digital yuan works. If they need you to spend the money, they put a timer on it. And it makes you spend it. But eventually somebody's not going to want to keep that money. Because who wants to be stuck with money that evaporates the moment you get it in your hands? When the timer ticks 0, nobody wants that. Because that means you lose. That's a game of hot potato. Be very interesting to see how this CBDC will actually react in the next few months as more countries sit there and peddle this garbage out to their people to enrich themselves and enslave everybody else. Because you'll be subjects of the state, because the state controls your money, not you. You earn it, but you don't control it. Period. Welcome to totalitarianism. Welcome to a dictatorship. Welcome to communism at its finest. The reason why some of these communist people believe that communism has never happened is because in order to have true communism, it has to be global. And if they can get everybody on one currency, you have one control mechanism. You control the means of production. You control the world. And if all the means of production are controlled through the money that they have to use, you control everything. Interesting stuff, right? Interesting stuff with with more countries going to be popping up and utilizing the CBDC foolishly using it. This is going to backfire on them. It's going to put the people, it's going to hurt the very people that they claim to be for equality for, the black community, the Hispanic community. They're trying to empower them by putting them onto the CBDC system or even introducing the CBDC system. Because once all the central banks start issuing this, game over. If they get rid of the cash, that will be them sitting there going, oh, debt's gone. Oh, no. But you get to keep your debt. You still owe on that house. But we don't use that same currency. Yeah. This was a debt clean for us. You still owe money. Your new money is the central bank digital coin. I can't pay my old debts off because those were in dollars. You can now use the CBDC coin. See how this goes? You see how it goes, guys. This is not a matter of if, it is more a matter of when this gets implemented. That's why there is a single politician that's trying to block the CBDCs in America. So just put it out there like that, guys. So does anybody have any comments or questions? We are coming up on that 1 hour marker, guys. You guys are awesome people. Definitely smash that lizardy like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you don't have any comments or questions, at least drop an FA in the Chizity chat because you guys are rated F for freaking awesome. Yo, that's right, everybody. Yo. It's like grandma needs the protection. Yeah, exactly. It's like F.A. Yep, all of you guys are awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. All that good stuff. Now, if you guys are wanting to have your gear hosted at the Family Mine, we are getting closer of actually getting in some power. I'm gonna go over it I'm gonna write up an article here over the weekend, post in Patreon, give everybody some updates over there. So if you're wanting to see some of the behind the scenes, definitely join the Patreon. Link down below. You can get in there. You can see some of the behind the scenes on there. And if you want to get your gear hosted, get into the pseudo hash or tier, gets you that VIP connection of being in the mine. Be like, yeah, I got guaranteed spaces in the mine. Yo. So thank everybody for being here. All that good stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Join the Discord, link down below. That's free. Yo, love to have you all part of the Family Mine. All that good stuff. And peace out. Stay savage. And of course, may your watts be low and your hash be high. I'll see you on the next one. Yo!